Good afternoon. This is PIN227, Section 1 on July the 6th. And we're going to start the session with a formative listening quiz, actually. The formative quiz is in the chat. I'm going to copy and paste the Word file that you have to complete. I repeat that this is formative, okay, and that the link for the recording is also pasted in the chat. Okay, so you have to open the Word file and you have to focus on the initial sound of the missing words. Listen to the dialogue as many times as you want, 2, 3, 4, I guess 5 times, and identify the initial sound in each one of the missing words. Okay, we're going to check out the answers. So probably you're going to take between 10 to 15 minutes. So any questions, I'm going to be here. All right. So good luck with it. Again, I insist this is an individual exercise, so you need to work on it on your own now. Okay. After 10 to 15 minutes, we're going to compare and share the answers. Good luck, everyone.
just checking on you. Remember, you need to identify the words in the missing, in the gaps, right? And you need to describe the consonant sounds, right? Initial consonant sounds. All right, I'm going to give you 5 more minutes just to wrap it up, considering that you need to practice the dialogue, and we're going to go over the identification of the initial consonant sounds. All right, just 5 more minutes.
Right, let's take a look at your answers. And in this formative listening quiz that I'm sharing now, you're expected to identify the initial consonant sounds in each one of the missing words. So the dialogue includes the following words: started, chores, mailed, clothes, looked, strolled, worked, finished, lifted, treadmill, showered, chatted, and late. The transcription for each one of those initial sounds is what I'm going to be sharing with you right now. So give me a second. Okay, so here they are. The first consonant sound in the first word is started. Started is an alveolar, fricative, and voiceless consonant sound, right? Then we have this palatal, affricate, and voiceless consonant sound. Mailed is a bilabial, nasal, voiced consonant sound. Then we have close, and close has as initial sound k, which is velar, because we lift or raise the back part of our tongue to touch the soft palate or velum. It is voiceless because there's no vibration of the vocal cords and it's a plosive sound. Next word is looked. Is an alveolar, lateral, voiced sound. Lateral, liquid, right? Then in strolled, we have the same explanation here that was in the previous started. Then we have worked, right, which is labiovelar, voiced. What else can you say about that? Labiovelar, voiced, and it's a glide, right, or a semi-vowel. Then we have f in finished, and f is a voiceless, fricative, labiodental consonant sound. Then same thing as in looked. Then we have treadmill, which is an alveolar, plosive, voiceless. That's right. And then we have showered, which is palatal or postalveolar, fricative, voiceless. That's right. Then we have chatted, which is the same as the initial sound in chores. And then we have late, which is as we already covered in looked. So those are the initial consonant sounds in this exercise, right? Was it difficult? Was it easy? That's totally up to you. Now, when I said that you have to practice this, I mean that you have to master the dialogue. Okay, when I mean to master, I mean that you have to read the dialogue aloud. You need to practice all the words that might not be known for you, and then practice as much as possible. So, for example, when you heard the man saying, "What did you do yesterday?" Try to imitate his intonation, right? And yesterday was my day off. Repeat, listen, pause, and repeat. That's the idea. Listen, pause, and repeat. Now, the idea would be that you could take a look at other dialects. I have some examples here for you. Now, you are I know you're able to work on others, right? But first, let me show you a PDF file. Okay, so here we are. These are words which have an ed ending. So we're going to figure it out if the last sound is t, a voiceless t, if the last sound is a voiced d, or if the pronunciation is an extra syllable, as in id. Okay, so start it. Let me make it bigger. Okay. Then we have need, needed, exactly. Rich, reached, right? Reached, because ch is voiceless, so we have a voiceless t in the end. Then number 4, regarded. Number 5, decided. Number 6, propped. Number 7, locked. Number 8, realized. Realized, d. Number 9, noticed. Noticed. Number 10, bolted. Number 11, descended. Number 12, glanced. You can say glanced or glanced, G-A or R-P. Number 13, looked. Looked. Okay. K, voiceless, along with a voiceless t. Renovated. Number 14, renovated. Number 15, closed. Closed. Number 16, discovered. 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 Number 17, examined. Examined. 18, painted. Painted. 19, permitted. Permitted. Number 20, pulled. Pulled. So the idea now is that you take a moment to read aloud on your own this paragraph. Okay, so I want you to pause the video now and read on your own individually aloud this section. All right, I'm going to silence my microphone. I want you to pause the video now, and then we're going to review the pronunciation as a group. All right. All right, assuming that you have already read this aloud, remember I told you to pause the video? Now we're going to cover the pronunciation. So we have, when Bond arrived at the renovated chateau, darkness had descended. He examined the shadowy building. Its ground floor windows were closed and shuttered. He glanced at his watch. He concluded that there was no time to lose and decided to enter. He tried the gold lift front door, but it was locked, barred, and bolted. He realized he needed a ladder. He looked around and noticed one on the grass. Noiselessly, he propped it up against the Noiselessly, he prodded up against a freshly painted balcony and started to climb. He had nearly reached the top when he spotted headlights approaching. A large car pulled in through the gate. By the time it arrived at the door, Bond had already jumped through the balcony window and discovered the cause of his anxiety. Okay, so that's the idea here. In the case, noiselessly, he propped it up. So you make one big chunk here. Propped it up, propped it up. He propped it up, right? Okay, let me show you another exercise in which I want you to pause the video again, and I want you to read this, considering if the ending is a voiceless t, a voiced d, or an extra syllable as in id. Okay, so pause the video, read this, and decide on your own what's the correct ending. All right, assuming you have finished already, the first one would be I laughed at the joke, voiceless t. Work is finished, voiceless t. The snake killed the mouse, d, voiced d. The teacher helped the student, voiceless t. When I was younger, I wanted to walk on the moon, id, extra syllable, right? Number 6, we hiked to the top of the mountain, hiked, voiceless t. 7, James rented his apartment, extra syllable, id. Number 8, we can't go swimming because the pool is covered, d, voiced d. Number 9, that old house is haunted, haunted, extra syllable, id. And number 10, we hunted for her keys but could not find them, hunted, extra syllable, id. Now, if you're asking, the difference would be haunted, hunted, haunted, hunted, okay? Now, the same task about the next paragraph. What I want you to do, let me make this a little bit larger, okay? Maybe too much. I guess 180 could be. Maybe, right? So I want you to read this story about a bear, about this bear who jumped out of its cage. And I want you to pause the video, read it on your own, and then I'm going to read it aloud, and you can follow me if you want, right? So pause the video now, please. All right, assuming you have paused the video and you have finished reading, the idea is now that we can read this together, right? So let's start. The bear jumped out of its cage and into the crowd. She must have realized that this was her best chance to escape. The bear's trainer looked as though he were about to faint from the terror of it all. It seemed like his worst nightmare come true. He scrambled to his feet and started waving his hands and shouting to get the bear's attention. She stopped her wild rampage only for a moment at the sound of her trainer's pleas. She quickly turned back to the crowd and resumed knocking people to the floor. The trainer suddenly had an idea. He reached into his pocket and pulled from it a large chocolate-covered treat, a known favorite of the bear. He shouted the bear's name once more, and she turned to face him. She saw the treat and ran in full gallop towards him. He threw the treat into the cage, and the bear followed. He locked the door behind her and fell to the floor in relief. Apparently, the bear valued food more than freedom. Okay, so I guess this is about the right time to make a pause, and this is the first section or the first part of this class. All right. So I'm going to stop recording, and I'm going to start the next session in the next 10 minutes.